Hi guys! I heard that you've just gotten to the part of the year in pre-calculus class where you have to find the equation of a sine or a cosine wave. I also heard a rumor that there's a quiz in pre-AP on Friday. So this video is being filmed on Thursday just for you guys because I want you to do well. Anyway, I have everything I need to get started except for video editing software because that's on my computer and I'm on my phone. So the intro music that you normally get at the beginning of my videos, I'm not gonna get it today. But I have everything else I need. I've got a cat, I've got a whiteboard, I've got a problem to work on, and I have a bucket of markers because this is all so much better when we color code. So we are going to be looking at this picture right here, and we are going to write an equation for a sine wave and an equation for a cosine wave from the same picture. And before we get started, first let's introduce the formula. You know this formula, you saw it already on, last time you were in class. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Let's review what those are. A is the tallness, sometimes we call it the amplitude of the wave. B is not anything, but it's related to the period of the wave. And the period is how wide the wave is. Now we can find the B value from the period by using this formula. Period equals 2 pi over B. C is the starting point of the wave, and D is the line that splits the wave in half. It's the mid-level of the wave. So I'm going to follow some steps here, and I thought I'd share those with you. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find D, then I'll find A, then I'll find the period, which you remember is the width of the wave, and I will use my formula, that formula, to figure out what B is. Then I'll find C, and then I'll take a look at my wave. Oh, there's another cat. See, I have 3 cats and 2 of them are inside right now. But anyway, and then after I find C, I'll look at my wave that I've picked out and I'll add a negative sign to it if the wave's upside down, to the A value if the wave is upside down. So let's get started. Let's take a look at this wave here. Remember step 1, I said I would find D. So I'm just going to figure out where's the line that splits that wave in half. To me, it looks like it's right here. That's the line that splits the wave in half. So that's my D value, which you can see is at 2. So already I know that D equals 2. So I'm going to come down to my formula. It's the same for both formulas. That D is, it's negative 2. It's negative 2, so I'm going to put minus. So that's not a plus sign anymore, that's minus 2. Minus 2. Okay. And then what? Then I'm going to find A, which is how tall the wave is. And remember, we only count from the middle to the top or the middle to the bottom, but we don't count both because that would be too tall. So how tall is this wave? It's 1 box tall. So A is 1, and so I put 1 in for the A value on both of these. Now, technically, you don't have to write the 1, but we're doing it to be extra clear about what we're doing. Okay, now it's time to found D, we found A. Now it's time to find the period of the wave, which is how wide the wave is. So for this, we're going to need to pick out a wave because there's more than one full wave cycle in this picture, but we need to pick one out. We could pick out a sine wave or a cosine wave, it doesn't matter. But I'll do sine since that's on top in terms of what I wrote down. So you'll remember a sine wave looks like this. And when it goes up first, that's a positive sine wave. Now, if it was upside down, then it would look like this, and that would be the time where we would stick a negative in front of our A value. Okay, so let's just go searching for one of those sine waves. It doesn't matter if we get a positive one or a negative one. Either way is fine. And I'll highlight it in pink since that's what color my formula is. Well, I could pick this one here. That's a nice wave. Or I might pick this one here, but the problem with that one is we can't see where it lands, so I don't suppose I'll pick that one. Let me pick this one here, where it starts, and then it goes through its cycle, and then it lands right here. So I need to find out how wide that is, because that's the period. So my starting point's at pi, and my ending point's at 9 pi. How wide is it from pi to 9 pi? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes, 8 pies. Or if you weren't sure about that, just minus the end from the beginning. 9 pi minus 1 pi is 8 pi. So 8 pi is my period. 8 pi, though, is not the b value. I have to use my formula to find the b value. And the formula is period equals 2 pi over b. So let's come back to our whiteboard. Let's write down the formula. Period equals 2 pi over b. And we had just found out that our period is 8 pi, so plug that in. And let's solve for b. The easiest thing would just be to put this over a 1 and to cross multiply. So we get 8 pi b equals 2 pi times 1, which is 2 pi. Let's get b by itself. So let's divide by the 8 pi. Divide by the 8 pi. So b equals, these pi's cancel out, and 2 over 8 reduces to 1 over 4. So b equals 1 over 4. Now we can come back and we can write that in as the b value on both of our equations here. 1 over 4. Right in there. It's the same for both equations. Even though I had highlighted a sine wave, it's the same for the cosine. Getting two equations knocked out at once. The only thing that's different between the two equations is going to be the c value. Every other number in the two equations is the same. So that's cool that you kind of get two things done at once for the most part. So I had already picked out my sine waves. So c, remember, is the starting point of the wave. So let's just see, where's the starting point? Oh, it's right there. It's right there at pi. But remember, c is opposite from what it is in the picture, so we're not going to put pi, we're going to put minus pi. And this is a sine wave, so I'm going to fill that in on the sine wave formula. Minus pi. And you'll notice that the sine wave I had picked out went down first, so it's a negative sine wave. So I'm going to do my step 5 here. Add a negative sign to the a value if the wave is upside down, which this sine wave that I picked out was upside down. And so I'll just stick a negative in front. So my sine equation is done, other than the fact that I should probably make it look a little prettier, but you can do that later. Let's go look at a cosine wave. So now we need to pick out, in the same picture, a cosine wave. There's probably a couple I could pick out here. I could pick out this one, or I could pick out this one, or I could pick out this one. Either way is fine, but I want to pick out the one where I can see the whole wave. So I think I'm going to pick out the one that starts down here and then ends over here. Now that cosine wave's a frowny face. It's upside down, so we know it's going to end up being negative, but that's okay. We'll deal with that in a second. Let's get the c value. The c value is the starting point. So the starting point is 3 pi. Flip the sign, so we're going to put minus 3 pi. And then I said my cosine wave is upside down. It's a frowny face, so I'm going to also have to make my a value negative. That's all there is to it, guys. I'm betting if you're confused about anything, it's kind of maybe the arbitrariness of the waves I picked out. So I want to emphasize, you can pick out any wave and it will change your C value and possibly the positive negative at the beginning of the equation. And you might write a different equation than the kid next to you writes. But it's the same wave, so you could pick out a different starting point and a different wave and still be correct. Let me kind of go back. Let's say in this picture for the sine wave, let's say I hadn't picked the one that started here. Let's say that I'm a real interesting sort and I decided, I'm trying to find a good color here. Ooh. No, that's green. I don't want that one. Blue. Let's say instead of picking out the sine wave that starts here, I had decided to pick out the sine wave that starts here. And it goes off the page, but I'm like, well, it's going to end up here anyway. If I had picked out that sine wave, that's okay. I still would have gotten a good, correct equation. I just would have to adjust my starting point. So this time it would be at 5 pi. So I'd, change the sign. I'd put minus 5 pi. And this time that wave goes up first. So I would not put the negative here. I'd keep it as a positive. And that equation is slightly different, but it makes the same wave because if you extend it both ways, you still get the same picture. You just chose to start in a different spot. But the secret on waves is it doesn't matter where you start because these things go forever to infinity, so it ends up looking the same no matter where you start at. Okay, I hope that helped. If it left you with any questions, you could go ahead and email me. All my contact information is down below in the description. And if you'd like to have a tutor for this school year, please contact me because that's what I do now. I'm a math tutor. Bye-bye.